Hello darlings, and welcome to another Bedroom Guru with me, Nicky Alan. This video is part of a series called the Grief Programme. So if you found this video first, it's best to go back to the beginning to video 1, which is Shock and Denial. Today we're at stage 6, which is working through and making plans. Or the other way around, making plans and working through, whichever way you want to say it. This is where you get a tiny ray of hope for the future. Believe me, if you are watching this and you're still in the beginning stages, you're going to think, I'm never going to get to this stage. It's just not going to happen. It will happen. That horrible old cliche of time is a healer, unfortunately, is totally true. The longer that you look after yourself, stay kind to yourself and go through the motions, the further away your body starts to distance itself and your mind from the trauma itself of the loss. It's never going to leave you. It never is. It's just that things lighten up as you go along. With this stage, those threads of hope start looking if they might dare to the future. So you might think, I might book a holiday now. Or you might think, what shall I do with the house? Or you may think, what shall I do with the car that we had, or he had, or she had? You might even start thinking about little things like perhaps putting their clothes away, or, you know, packing them up. Very hard one. Very hard one to do. Some people tend to clear people's belongings out at the beginning because they just need complete detachment. They need, you know, they don't want any personal reminders at all. They just want to clear everything out. Depends when you feel like you want to do it. It is one of the most difficult, most emotional, most horrific things to have to do. And I know some people, even 10 years on, have still got a full wardrobe of their, you know, their other half stuff, or even kept the bedroom of the person that they love. This is an important one in some respects. And, you know, this is not a blame game or anything like that. But when we start to think of moving on, or looking at, not moving on, but, you know, thinking about what we could be doing in the future and perhaps letting go of a few things, we kind of get frightened, and then we may go back to denial and shock because we're like, no, they haven't gone. But this is just something for you to think about if it affects other people. I remember going to do an intimate evening, which is where I used to go round. I do miss them, and I hope I can be well enough to do them again at some point. I used to go round and do an evening of mediumship in someone's home for like 10, 20 people. It used to be lovely, you know, nibbles and wine and that kind of thing. Anyway, I went into this house, and I'm not joking you, it was like walking into a death house. It was just awful. And I thought, Jesus, someone obviously has just passed, but I couldn't feel it. And normally I can see or feel the person, or the energy of them, you know, or the echo of them if it's a recent passing. And I thought, no, it's no recent passing I can think of. But the place was just like walking. Do you know, like if you walk into someone's house when you're going to a funeral, and everybody's like whispering, it's all quiet, and, you know, nobody really wants to laugh, and you're having a drink, and it's all just, it was like that. It was like, Jesus Christ, it was just stifling. So I thought, God, this is just really hard. And I found, and when you're in that energy as a medium, you find it really hard. You find it really hard to work through it. And it was just, God, it was so sad. It was just awful shock and sadness. It was just like someone had just been told someone had died, you know. So the first person came in, and I really had to work hard. It was like grasping at straws to try and get hold of, you know, any spirit people and God knows what. And then right at the end, this girl came through, and I just thought, shit, this is the one that everybody's grieving in this house. This woman was like, oh my God, her mum's going to be so amazed, so happy she's here, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, this little girl came through, and you think she'd be happy that she was talking to her auntie, but she was like, you've got to please help my sister. Anyway, I don't want to go too much into it because of confidential purposes. However, I knew that I had to go up to the sister's bedroom, and her sister, I think, was a year younger than her, or a year and a half younger than her. So I asked if I could go up to the bedroom. Now, this girl had passed 5 years. 5 years, okay? So it was kind of recent, but not. You're never going to lose the fact you've lost your baby. I know that. She passed, I think, at about 5 or 6 years old. And I walked into this bedroom and I couldn't believe it, right? Oh my God. Her side of the bedroom was left as it was 5 years ago, the day she died, right? Even like her knickers were just, bless her, and her pyjamas were at the bottom of the bed. And the dip of her head in the pillow was still there. It was literally preserved for 5 years, which is fair enough if you can shut the door on it. The problem is that her sister had to live in that. So her sister was growing up, but looking at it every single day. The last day of her sister being alive. And I think the sister was about, she was about 10 by then, 9 or 10. And I was just mortified. I just couldn't believe it. Because this poor girl was living in like the crypt of her sister's death every single day for 5 years. And I knew I couldn't speak to the mum because I think she'd go and tell me to do one, basically. So I spoke to the sister and said, you've got to change this, because the little girl was sitting in the corner and she was just almost felt guilty she was alive. Do you know what I mean? And nobody kind of considered her. And I find that a lot. Some people centre on the death of a child but don't realise they've still got other children. Do you know what I mean? Please don't, this is not a criticism, but we have to start thinking about life does go on and we do have other children to love, nurture and bring forward. And this is the problem. We've become so stuck with that one child that's passed that everybody else is forgotten, and this little girl had been totally forgotten. Anyway, I had long talks. I refused to do any more readings, which didn't go down very well because nobody grieved this girl apart from a couple of the people, and I spoke to the person that had the most sanity there and said, look, you can't leave this girl in the bedroom on the, this is like the girl's deathbed, for God's sake, you can't do this. And she's living she wakes up looking at it every single day. It's not healthy, it's not right. I said, you've got to do something about this because I'm really concerned about her mental health. Anyway, it turns out that the auntie did do it, and they ended up changing the bedroom, making the bedroom the girl's own, and it was sorted eventually. But this is what grief does to people, and I totally understand it. This isn't me criticising, but sometimes if you are the person looking in, you're going to have to intervene if it gets to that stage, because that's just not right. Either intervene with the mother or the father, or just do something about it. Because that poor cow, 5 years looking at her sister's deathbed, not good, is it? So anyway, moving on, as we are talking about moving on, think about that, think about your other children. If you've lost a child, think about your other children, because they can bring you strength and love. They're just as lost as you are. They're just as lost as you are. So think about that. So what are we doing? We're thinking about, oh, do you know what? How's the direct debits going? You suddenly find yourself tinily and tentatively stepping back into the world, back into the rat race. And it's like, oh, who's been paying the bills? Who's been doing this? Who's been doing that? And you start to operate on a more functional mode, okay? Yes, you're still going to get depressive episodes. Yes, you're still going to get upset because your loved one has gone. But there is this little survival mechanism that starts to kick in that says, right, well, hang on a minute. We need to start going forward now. And this is when the time you may have the strength to start, perhaps removing clothing and doing that kind of thing. And as I say, you might even start making plans. Oh, next week I might go and see my sister for dinner, whereas before you just existed from day to day. So this is a tentative step into dealing with life again, dealing with people again, dealing with, where you want to be, what you want to do. Now you're not with your person. it's not an acceptance by any means, but you're starting to open your eyes up to the reality of that you need to carry on doing things if you're going to survive. You know, it's not going to help curled up under a duvet. This is a time also when people perhaps will think about counselling, bereavement counselling. I think actually I'd like to go and speak to someone about it. This is a time that you might put photographs up of your loved one to kind of help you through. It's very different. Again, some people want photos around them from the day they've passed, all around them. Other people can't even face it. I couldn't face seeing a picture of my mum or my nan for quite a long time. And I thought, no, it'd be nice to have something up. And so that's what I did. It's entirely up to you. But again, don't be forced. Once you start getting this little flicker of wanting to, you know, deal with your life, don't start then getting people to force you, because they just want to get you back to normal, you know. Oh, good. So should we clear the stuff out now? Oh, good. Should we go and do this now? Should we go and do that? Just go, whoa, hang on a minute. I'm just like getting my head around getting back into life again. Back off a bit, right? Own your energy and own your boundaries for the people that are actually doing the grieving, okay? And likewise, now talking to the people that are supporting the people that are grieving, don't force them. Now you've seen them suddenly have this upward turn. Don't pressure them. Go easy with them. They're still tentatively trying to get back into the rat race of life. Quit the rat race. That's true though, isn't it? God. You know? And they might even think about redecorating. Just go with it. And then if they change their mind, don't pressure them. Just, okay, that's fine. We'll leave it for another month, you know. Just let them find their feet if you're with the person that you're supporting. The people finding your feet, go easy, okay. You could turn into a manic, I want to change everything. That's fine, but don't burn yourself out. And don't do things that perhaps you'll regret the following day. All right, there can be a bit of mania in suddenly finding this new hope of, you know, oh, I can move forward. And then you suddenly do loads of stuff and think, shit, why did I do that? I wanted to keep this because this room was our room or whatever. You know what I mean? So go easy on when you start feeling that you can start coping again. All right, make sure that you make days that are pleasant and nice with the people you love. You know, make sure that you spend time with people that feed your energy, that feed your soul, not drain it, okay? You may even feel like you want to go back to work if you've not been at work. You may even feel like I can, you know, I reckon I could do a couple of days now. That would be great. And it would be good for you because it takes you out of that zone. It breaks up your mental patterns of loss and gives you something else to focus on. You know, or I might take up my hobby again. Great, I might take up my running again. Whatever it is that, you know, gives you a distraction at this point of recovery is perfect. So, you know, honour it and bring it on. Bring it on. As I say, go easy, because if you push yourself too much and you change things too much, you might hit a plateau where you think, oh my God, he's really gone and she's really gone, and then you could go whirling back. Just be gentle on yourself, okay? Don't think you're a failure if you then drop back into the depression stage or another stage. You're not a failure. You're trying to get your head, your body and your soul around the fact that you're not going to physically see someone again. So don't be hard on yourself, okay? It's interesting because at this point, you know, I remember when my mum passed, only a few weeks after my uncle then passed. So, you know, I'm just thinking about people that have had people pass within a short time of each other. That completely mucks you up, doesn't it? Because you're trying to get some sort of recovery from the first grief, and then another one hits you and you're back in a Jesus Christ kind of, you know, situation. And so what I will recommend is, if this does happen to you and you've had unfortunately double or, you know, multiple passings in a short space of time, is just keep going back to the stages that you're feeling and press play again, so you can relate to what you're going through, okay? So it's not please don't beat yourself up. This isn't textbook. Don't think I should be doing this by now. You know if it's healthy or not, what you're going through. And if it's too far extended and it's too far down the line and you really should be feeling that you should be coping a lot better, that's your time to reach out to friends, family and counsellors. Counsellor! Sorry, I had to say that. Escape fear. Don't be afraid or feel guilty on smiling, laughing or having fun. Okay, remember what I said in the last video. They want you to thrive, they want you to survive, they want you to live your life until you're reunited with them again. So don't feel guilt. Do anything that releases serotonin for you. Okay, lovely baths, lovely walks, your hobbies, your passions, book a holiday to somewhere you loved, or whatever it is that you want to do to get your serotonin levels up, do it. So that's you making plans and working things through, which is great. You know, you may be able to start dealing with the more practical elements of their passing, start getting hold of the bills, start realising what you need to do. And that's a good thing. Okay, you're moving forwards, and you are going towards where you should be going, which is acceptance. So hang on in there, guys, if you're in this stage. All right, take it easy, baby steps, one day at a time. You can do this. I'll speak to you very soon.